Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great Thursday. Welcome to another episode of True Crime. I hope you guys are having a great day and we're the weekend. For those who work on the weekends, I'm sorry. Um, what is it wanting me to do? Hold on. My computer's like, okay. It keeps popping up these things. Like, what is it doing? Hey. So how's everybody doing? Let me see something real quick. Um, Make sure you guys that are over on Facebook. Make sure you guys go out of the you're in. You can scroll up. There's a link there that says True Crime Tuesday. It has the wrong picture. If I don't put a picture there, it always puts the last one there. So I'll change it afterwards. But I appreciate if you're coming over from Facebook after you hit that link and you guys are coming into the chat, which is on the app, all you have to do is hit that X in the right hand corner and go out and hit that thumbs up. Everybody who's here already, I hope you've already done that. I'm just waiting. It's just a waiting game at this point. So, you're enjoying your holiday, Juneteenth. I'm off tomorrow. No, that's right. I'm driving, but I'm listening, y'all. Hey, all my favorite outlaws. Hey, Mai. Hey, Amanda. Hey, everybody. Ladybug says, Connie, ladies, what the heck? My daughter and her friend just popped over to visit me. Hopefully, you'll still be on when they leave. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. Yeah, girl, just turn it down and leave it on your phone. Just turn it down and watch it. Anyway. Yes, you got the remind alert. Yay. Yeah, I think a lot of people weren't understanding that once they download the Remind app, if you don't, depending on how a lot of people signed up through text. So sometimes that won't go over to the app. So when you download the app, always make sure that you have one of the what they call classes on the side. It'll say classes joined, and you'll have there. It'll say like Feminine Fierce or Outlaws or whatever it says. There's some different names to classes, but you'll be able to tell it's mine. So if you don't have any classes joined, that means you'll never get an alert. So once you join that class, it'll say join class, and you type in the at FAF alerts, and then you'll be in the class. So then you'll get the Remind app text that they come over the app just like if it was a text message. It'll pop up a notification just like a text. So a lot of people, I think that was one like a disconnect that people weren't realizing. They thought because they did the text that here's what happens. They sign up for the text alert, and then when they log into the Remind app or set up a Remind app account, that the number doesn't get put in there. So those two accounts don't merge. So basically, they have the Remind app, but they're not in any classes. So therefore, they don't get the remind, or they don't get the reminder. So that's what's been happening. Stay safe. I love a good thunderstorm too, but yeah, not that type, right? Well, definitely stay safe. Well, you guys know how we always started out of play. So today we're doing match the arrestee with the alleged crime. Let's see what we got here. What are their crimes? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 1, I mean, I want to know what he or I think that's he. I want to know what he did. So we got aggravated assault with a pew pew. We got Kokiana Sales, loitering and prowling, which probably may be the first one. Ooh, we have homicide on here. And voyeurism. How ironic voyeurism is on there as a crime. So what do we think? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Put what you think in the comments. You can put number 1, Kokianis, number 2, homicide. However you guys want to do it, just drop them in the comments, and at random, I will put them where they go. And then we get to see what they really did. Hey, driving and listening. All right, Colette, thank you. The middle dude definitely sells some blow. All right, let's do that. Let's do the middle guy definitely sells some blow. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking for him was voyeurism. Um, that's what I was thinking for him. Is that what you were saying, 2 T's? Voyeurism, like voyeur 3? Alright, so what do we got? 1, 2, 4, and 5. First is May with the voyeurism. Alright, we'll do that voyeurism. There we go. So we got 2, 4, and 5, guys. 2, 4, and 5. Oh, you think number 3 is loitering, Missy? Well, let's see. If we get it wrong, then you'll know we got it wrong because I didn't pick yours. Because trust me, it's happened. I didn't leave the house all day today, but I have to tomorrow so I can order my TV shirts. This rain makes me sleepy. Yes, rain makes me sleepy too. I love a good thunderstorm. I listen to rain like to go to sleep sometimes. Hey, all right. So what do we think number 2, 4, and 5 did? Who do we think homicide? I think Andy 2.0 is Coke sale. Oh, you think who's saying Andy 2.0 is number 5? 2 for homicide. All right, let's do it. 2 for homicide. And then we have loitering and assault with a pew pew. So who do we think loitering and which out of these 2, who do you think is loitering and prowling and who do you think is assault with a pew pew? I want to say assault with a pew pew is the lady, but then I look at him and I'm like, he might have been the assault. You love the rain too? I'm thinking he might be it. Yeah, Lace, I do True Crime Tuesday now on Tuesday and Thursday. So, let me just take out the Tuesday. And then we'll get back. Let's see. Let me update here. Update. Let's just do True Crime with your host. There we go. There we go, there we go. It's a preset also, like, I have different what they call studios, so I have different ones, like, I have one for a weekend update, I have one for, like, regular every night, and then I have one for true crime, so it just stays that way. Let's see, come on, X out. Alright, so let's do, 5 as the prowler, alright, and then she gets come on now, stick over there, stick. Alright, and then aggravated assault with a firearm. There we go. Let's see if we got any of these right. Oh, 1 out of 5, y'all. Oh. Well, I mean, aggravated assault with the firearm and homicide, it could be very easily be. Oh, Andy 2.0 was voyeurism. All right, so number 1 is loitering and prowling. Number 2, aggravated assault. Number 3, we got right. That was the one we got right, guys. Shout out to you who said number 3 definitely is Kokiana sales. Number 4 is homicide. And look, we got those 2 flipped. So 2 and 4, we got flipped, but we were on the right track. So I feel like that's like half a point because aggravated assault with a pew pew and homicide, we got pretty close. And then number 5 is voyeurism. I also think loitering and prowling and voyeurism, we were on the right track there too. So I feel like we were on the right track, guys. Let's try the next one. Oh, okay. I don't know usually they have like a theme going with the arrestees, but not on this one. Not that I can see. All right. So what do we got here? We got, another Kokiana possession, animal cruelty, assault with a deadly weapon. Look at old girl what police station lets her get her mugshot with her sunglasses on? What the heck is that? Assault with a deadly weapon, driving under the influence, and possession of paraphernalia. I feel like animal cruelty, I feel like is the last lady. I'm gonna put that one there. All right, so what do we got for 1, 2, 3, and 4? Let me know. Let me know. Who do we think does the Kokiana? Possession, not selling. This time it's possession. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Rhonda. Doctor's appointment in the morning. I hope it goes well. That's what I said, Missy. Number 5, animal cruelty. I had to put it there. That's the only one I can see her doing or driving under the influence, one or the other. But I think animal cruelty for sure. Number 1, driving under the influence. All right, there we go. Driving under the influence, number 1. All right. So now we got possession of coquiana, assault with a deadly weapon, and possession of paraphernalia. I mean, this girl right here, I can't see old girl's eyes because she's got sunglasses on. But this girl right here, I mean, she does have the bug eye. She's ready, honey. She's ready for whatever comes with you. Number 3 is the weapon. All right. So we got possession and paraphernalia, either one. And see, I really think she's something. She's either got the paraphernalia or the possession, one or the other. Um, Number 3. Oh, you think three's possession? You think three's been snorting that powder? Number 4 for the coquiana. All right, let's do this one. There we go. All right, let's see what we got. 1. Jeez, we're getting worse. All right, well, here we got number 1. We got number 2, assault with a deadly weapon. Number 3, driving under the influence. Number 4, got the paraphernalia. See, I knew she was one or the other, y'all. I knew she was one or the other. And number 5, animal cruelty. I knew that right off the rip. Isn't that sad? As soon as I saw the 5 and saw animal cruelty, that's exactly who I thought it would be, was the older lady. That's awful, y'all. If you want to play this game, it is on the Smoking Gun website, Time Waster tab. You got mugshots on there. They got a bunch of stuff on there. It's a cool website. Check it out. We always play a couple of those in the beginning, but we got a few things to talk about today as it comes to the true crime stuff. I am going to start off with a crime that is hitting bigger cities. Just want people to be 3 and 4 high as the cost of living, right? You got 3 out of 5. See, you're doing good. Yeah, we did, Missy. We called that shit. Yeah, number 4, honey. She was as high as a giraffe's cooter cat. Right, baby doll. I can just imagine she probably had like a bunch of animals, cats, dogs, something, and wasn't taking care of them properly. It's wild. Rosa must be. So I want to start out with this, just more for an awareness purposes. If you've not heard of some of this, which we'll get into it, but I can't imagine. There's no way. I don't think I would be a victim of this crime. Target people with like nicer cars, but anyway, I digress. Like, I mean, I have a nice car. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like sports cars, like expensive ass shit. All right, let's get to the damn video. Mm-mm-mm. All right. I can't see your comments right now, so. Oh, I also wanted to say last night I missed, and I'll say it on Malarkey too, just in case they may not be in here. But last night, when I guess I was switching or whatever, switching scenes or whatever, and I wanted to give them a shout out. I actually missed Cameron and Susan. They both sent last night, and I missed both of them, and I wanted to give them a shout out. So if Susan or Carrie Tillman are in here, thank you so much. I did not miss it on purpose or ignore you. Nothing. I just wanted to say that. Am I clicking in and out on sound? I hope not. I'm not listening to myself, so I go through stuff when I'm clicking. I don't know. All right. Let me pull up my thing so I can hear the sound. How about that? Just a second. I was the other night for some reason. I think this mic is like a nice ass mic too. So I don't know if that's the cord. Okay. I don't know if it's the cord or what is going on. All right. Let me see. In and out a little. Hey, Kels. Sorry, it's a commercial. So I was trying to get to myself. Okay. So I don't sound choppy on my end. So maybe go out and come back in. Let's see. I'm trying to listen to myself. Hear what y'all are hearing. All right. So let's watch this video. Okay, let's watch this video real quick. It's my side, not yours. It may just be my mic, you guys. It sounds okay on my end. I'm listening on my end. It sounds all right. Comments flying by. My bad. All right. So let's listen to this real quick. I hate that it lags. The reason there's a lag on the restream, I've been educated on this. They do the lag on the streaming services is because people were swatting like gamers and stuff. So they do the lag that way if a swatter if a gamer would get swatted, they would be able to cut the live feed and nobody would be able to see it. So they try to do that to take away from people swatting because you're not going to see it anyway because there's like a minute lag. So that's why. Okay, there we go. I think it's good now. All right, so let's listen to this. This lady got robbed $1,100 in broad daylight in Atlanta.
Shit like this be happening to me, especially because like I'm not a selfish person at all. I don't steal from nobody. I don't steal from corporations. I don't steal from Walmart. I don't steal, period. I'm a giver. If anybody knows me, I'm always giving to people. I'm always just helping out the community and stuff like that. So for this to happen to me, I know God is going to bless me because I didn't do nothing for this. I didn't do anything like karma wise for this shit to happen to me. And I hate to wish bad on people, especially black boys, because a lot of times they be needing our support at the most. But the fact that they just stole from me, a black woman, you don't ever know in a person's situation. If y'all follow me, if y'all seen the post that I just made, how I just got laid off from my job, like, people don't see that. And see, this how I know that, like, those boys really just need help. They need help, yo. But not mine. Fuck that. I don't wish bad on nobody, but you got to go. Like, you got to die from this shit. Like, you don't just get to be put in jail from this shit. And I know worse things happen to other people, but for someone like me who don't do nothing to nobody, bitch, you're going away. I don't give a fuck where it is.
All right, so this is what they do. All right, so they're selling water. He's like, dang, it's $1, it's $1. So
not give any money to the fucking water boys. They just stole $1,100 from me, sent $1,100 from my Cash App to theirs. I literally had $2 on there. They changed it and sent $1,100 to them. It was a lot of boys on a fucking on a scooter, on them damn Lime scooters, but that's okay. I got the fucking police right here. I hope them, y'all, somebody need to put them hoes under the jail. $1,100, bitch. I really don't understand why shit like this be happening to me, especially because, like, I'm not a selfish person at all. I don't steal from nobody. I don't steal from corporations. Okay. I don't steal from...
It's just repeating. Okay, so here's what they do. Now, didn't just happen to her. This happens a lot. So what they do is they're on these scooters. They approach the car. They say that they're selling water. The person, most of the time, especially me, I don't have $1 or $2. It's all on electronically, right? So they say, well, I can Apple Pay you or Cash App you or whatever. What happened in this lady's thing is they'd said $2 for the water. So what she does is she pulls her Cash App up, she types in $2, and then when she says, well, what's your Cash App handle? He says, oh, just hand me your phone, I'll type it in. So she hands the phone to him with $2 pressed in. He changes it to 1,100, types his cash tag, hits send, and she pulls off. Never, you never to be seen again. So the reason I say it's wild is because there's no damn way in hell I'm handing anybody my phone while I'm stopped at a red light. Because what happens if the light turns green? They got my phone. Like, there's so many instances, which that's maybe because I have anxiety, and that would make my anxiety go through the roof. Like, what do you have my phone for? What are you looking at? Like, I don't even like when a place has tap and you have to hand them your phone so they can tap it on the thing, like at a restaurant or whatever, like a drive through. I don't even like that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it does it. That's how they do it. They say, "Hey, I'll just type in, my cash tag or whatever, Venmo or whatever the case may be. I'll just type it in instead of telling her what it is." They just say, "Oh, hand me your phone. I'll type it in." So when they go to type in their cash tag, instead of her having $2 up there, he deletes the $2 and types in 1,100 and then puts his cash tag, hits send, done. Like, to me, there's no way I'm giving anybody my phone. You know what I'm saying? Not even my family. Like, I'd be like, "Nah, I'd be like, "Just tell it to me." Like, I'm not doing that. But I can see where some people would not think about it, would not think twice to be like, "Oh, here," you know? But that's what they do. You saw in that little clip that I added in there, that was not her clip. That was a clip I added between her stories. That is what happens. The guy that was filming that, it was his friend, like, they were together, and they tried to approach him too, but he never rolled the window down, or what you can tell in the video, like, they come right by him, he never rolls the window down. But, yeah, ain't nobody get my phone either. Yeah, so the 2 T's, I'm right there with you, like, yeah, and also I have my cards in the back of, like, I have one of those things on the back of my phone that keeps my, like, license and stuff in it, like, there's no way. Um Yeah, it wasn't but Rose, they do this. This is like she is not if you, like, Google it or type it in, if you have TikTok, they hit people all the time. Like, I mean, they do this all the time. This is not something that just happened to her. Like, this is their scam. This is what they do. Because you're sitting at a red light, so you're in a hurry. You know what I mean? Like, they cash in on the urgency of it being a red light, and people see these young boys and they want to help them. Oh, we're selling water. We're trying to get money up for blah, blah, blah. They're at it. Think about it. You're at a red light, so you don't have much time. Sure would have spun the block and made them give me back every dime and then some. Well, yeah, Lauren, but that's the thing. Like a woman like that, there's a whole crew of them. We saw in that video, there was like three or four of them coming up to that guy's car, and there's more on the side. Like it's a whole group of them. So I'm sure she was intimidated. Um, the way the world is now, it's hard to trust anybody, right? My dumbass friend got her phone stolen by teenagers asking to use it to call their mom twice. Wow. See, I'd be like, let me just dial it and put it on speakerphone. Like, I know that's hard though. Because I don't know. See, that to me, Serena, would probably get me before the Cash App thing. Say teenagers saying they needed to call their mom I promise you would probably get to me before saying, "Oh, let me put my cash tag in." Like that would pull on my heartstrings a little bit more because I have kids and I would only imagine like my kids being underage and trying to get hold of me. So that would probably get me better than the Cash App thing. Yeah, the app. See, I've been told that they do Apple Pay and stuff before, but they got her on Cash App. So she pulled her Cash App. What she did was, um, I don't have a members only. Oh, you mean subscription? No, I'm not. I usually don't do it for true crime because one time I don't get like people that come in here and troll her. Um, Yeet, hi. I was like, wait, am I looking at the right one here? All right, so let's get into this next one. Let's get into this next story here because this story, can't say too much. Um, I can't say too much about this story except to share it with you guys, but I'll just say that this story definitely hits close to home. How's that? Hey, Megan. Better late than never. Appreciate you. All right, let's. Mm, 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 mm. Sorry, I got to go through a few screens to get to it. All right. All right, there we go. All right, let's watch this one.
Kamisha McGaskey, and charged each one with obstructing justice. That incident happened Wednesday night off of Highway 501 in Carolina Forest. Arrest warrants say the three women prevented or interfered with a police investigation by giving false statements and attempting to destroy evidence. The three women were released to home detention Thursday morning on a $5,000 bond.
Oh, wait,
The
hold on.
suspicious death of a
I
child
don't think it lets
in
you guys hear
Carolina
everything.
Forest.
Hold on. Let me
Of
start
a
it.
child last week in Horry County. Police arrested 34-year-old Lakeisha Burnett, 21-year-old Atlantis Thomas, and 31-year-old Kamisha McGaskey, and charged each one with obstructing justice. That incident happened Wednesday night off of Highway 501 in Carolina. Investigation by giving false statements. Warning on
The death of a child in Carolina Forest has now turned into a homicide investigation. Officers responded to the area of Sago Palm Drive near Highway 501 and Legends Drive last Wednesday. That's where we now know they found an 11-year-old girl with multiple blunt force injuries who later died at the hospital. Lakeisha Burnett, Kamisha McGaskey, and Atlantis Thomas have all been charged in connection to this case. The arrest warrants claim the trio tried to destroy before investigators found mops inside the home that are being tested for possible blood. They've all since been released from custody and placed on home detention. Authorities say the 11-year-old was from Texas, but had been staying with someone believed to be her father's cousin. We're going to keep you updated as this story continues to develop. What was once a child's suspicious death here in Horry County is now a murder case that's led to new charges against the woman pictured here on the right side of your screen. This is WNBF News at 6. I'm Eric Weisfeld.
And I'm Rachel Bogle. Let's hand things over now to our Maddie Sexton, who joins us live outside Horry County's police headquarters in Conway. So, Maddie, what's changed in this case as of today?
Rachel, Eric, officers tacked on a murder charge today against 31-year-old McGaskey, claiming that exactly 1 week ago today, she killed an 11-year-old girl who she had legal guardianship over. Listen to this.
This was a horrific crime. This poor 11-year-old victim suffered multiple injuries, and we just want to bring attention to that.
Those claim came to Akira Bell's head and body at a home on Palm Drive, just off of Legends Drive and Highway 501 in Carolina. That's where officers found Bell unresponsive last Wednesday, taking her to the hospital where she'd later succumbed to her wounds. By Thursday, officers had already ruled her death suspicious, leading them to not only arrest McGaskey that day, but also Lakeisha Burnett and Atlantis Thomas on obstruction charges. Police claim the trio hid evidence of Bell's death after officers reportedly caught them with mops, towels, and bedding in trash bags inside the home that officials have since tested for possible blood. Officers have yet to share the results of those tests or confirm exactly what led them to now charge McGaskey with murder. But they do assure us they're doing their best to investigate this case and find justice for Bell.
I will tell you again, my officers are if not the best, one of the best. Our CID Detective Division up here work very, very hard, very tirelessly to speak for a victim that couldn't speak. When we see children crimes, it's a different level because those children are innocent.
Bell's body remains at the coroner's office as of tonight. Police also say that more charges could come out in this case, and we'll be sure to let you know of any once we learn more.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today, we want to give you an update on the homicide investigation on Sago Palm Drive.
Okay, so this little girl, she was 11 years old. She was from Texas. And for whatever reason, her parents could not take care of her. So they sent her here. And the lady they originally charged 3 women with obstruction because they would not help the officers when they called 911 for her being unresponsive. They would not help officers find out what happened to her. So they originally charged them with obstruction. After the coroner's report came out and ruled it homicide, one of the women who had legal guardianship over this little girl got charged with homicide. But she had moved here from Texas because her family couldn't take care of her. So she was moved here with this guardian. And they called 911. She was unresponsive and she was taken to a local hospital, ER, where she was pronounced dead. The saddest part, well, not that obviously her losing her life was the saddest part, but also you can hear this officer when he talks about it. There were 7 other children taken out of the home.
Drive involving our 11-year-old victim, Akira Bell. Today, our CID Detective Division did make a charge in this case to one Kamisha McGaskey for homicide. This case is continuing to investigate. We are still looking into the matter early on in the incident, but we did want to bring you up to speed on where we are with the investigation. This was a horrific crime. This poor 11-year-old victim suffered multiple injuries, and we just want to bring attention to that. If you see these type of things in our community, please report these things. This innocent child suffered traumatic injuries, very, very difficult for our team and the folks that were involved. And we just want to, again, let the community know we're doing our best to investigate the case, make these charges swiftly to provide justice to her. And I'll open up to any questions you may have. Yes, sir.
Akira's from Texas, correct?
Yes, sir, as far as I'm aware.
Do you know where in Texas?
I don't have the specifics, no, sir.
And do you know the relation with the 3 women she was staying with?
At this point, all we know is they were a guardianship. That's all we know at this point.
Thank you.
Are the other 2 women still just being charged so far with obstruction? Might there be more charges coming?
I've been charged with obstruction, but the case is again ongoing.
Okay, so there could be more charges pending?
Potentially.
Right now, so you're saying just Ms. McCaskey's facing a homicide charge?
Currently at this time, yes, sir.
What led you to charging just Kamisha?
So I can't get out the specifics of the case. Basically, the evidence pointed that way so far, so that led to the charge today.
Now you said that she suffered blunt force trauma, is that right? So some sort of traumatic injuries. And I was wondering, like, do you know if it was like punching, if it was she was hit with something, like?
So, right, sure. I can't give out the specifics of what exactly the injuries were, but I will reference the coroner's report yesterday. Blunt force trauma is a part of that, which could be a multiple of things that we are still continuing to investigate.
Now, there were other children in the home at the time, is that right?
Correct.
Do we know the condition of those children or any other direct relation to Akira or?
Yes, we're still investigating that. I can tell you and report at this time there were 7 other children removed from the home currently.
Okay, and are they all in the custody of DSS right now?
Currently, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Do you know why she was staying in Conway? Akira?
Again, I think it was a guardian that was selected for her to be with based upon her parents not being able to provide care.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Just to give you an opportunity to respond to this, because I think Ms. McKay the other day spoke to one of our reporters and essentially implied that she was racially profiled.
Uh-huh.
I just want to give you an opportunity to respond to that.
My bad. I am going to have to say bye to Facebook. Thank you so much for the reminder. Bye, Facebook. All right, my bad, y'all. So the woman who was arrested tried to say that she was racially profiled because of what happened. The 3 women also had mops, trash bags, all of these things trying to clean up the scene. But that's what he's getting ready to address about being racially profiled.
Claim that she made.
Absolutely. I will tell you again, my officers are if not the best, one of the best. Our CID Detective Division did a great job here, worked very, very hard, very tirelessly to speak for a victim that couldn't speak for herself. When we see children crimes, it's a different level because those children are innocent. I mean, we're talking about 11 snuffed out here. completely uncalled for. I will say that we'll take any complaint that anyone wants to bring, and we'll look at it as far as any type of information that you're referencing. But I will tell you that these folks did a great job in this case. I'm very proud of them, and they're going to continue to do the work. So.
Will Akira's body be like sent back to her family in Texas?
So the coroner's office would be the appropriate question for that because they have custody and control.
So is Kira's body, her body still in custody of the coroner's office? Or
As far as I'm aware right now, yes. Yes, sir.
Were there any reports of prior abuse or welfare checks at the home?
Not that I'm aware of currently at this time. We're still running down all those leads. Again, it's still very early into the investigation. We have, again, had enough information to make a charge, but we're still looking at those leads and the additional information.
And are y'all able to comment on whether the 7 additional children were from the Myrtle Beach area or were they also out of state?
I don't have all that information at this time.
About 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Any indication whatsoever that trafficking may have been involved in this case of any sort?
Great question. Again, we are looking at all angles with this case. As we do with every case of child abuse, we look at every facet of it to see if any of those factors are involved.
Okay.
And if they are, we will pursue it.
So it's not being discounted, but you can't say right now. I'm assuming the investigation efforts are still very active.
Right. Yes, sir. Do you have another question?
Well, I was just going to ask your officers and your fathers, you have children yourselves or obviously small relatives, I'm sure. Do these cases sort of hit differently for you and your officers when it involves a child like this?
Yes, sir. That's a great question. I will tell you, these cases are very difficult for our staff. Some cases in law enforcement you carry with you your entire career, even after you've retired. And these cases are definitely one of those. With this case, we look at child abuse that leads to homicide. I can tell you it's a traumatic event for our folks involved, for those families involved, and it's a thing you're going to remember for sure. Yes, sir.
What message would you like to give to our viewers and readers?
I would go back to the speak for someone who can't speak for themselves. If you see this information out there, please report it. Allow our officers the opportunity to look at that. Give these children a voice.
Definitely give these children a voice. Shout out to Nicholas for that super chat. Love you always, Connie. Hope you start feeling better. Thank you so much. Yeah, Lakita, I just didn't understand where, because she's from Texas. Her family's in Texas, and she was out here with, I can't even remember. They said what it was. I think they said what exact family it was. But she was out here with some extended family, and I just think that child's been unalived. I just don't see where it matters where her body end up. I don't know. To me, I just felt like I don't think it's a dumb question. I just think I wouldn't have asked that. I do think a lot more is going to come out about this case because they had 8 children there. 1 is now gone, 7 of which are now in custody of the state. And the 3 women clearly were cleaning this up. Even if only 1 was responsible, the other 2 women were helping her to, cover it up. And I just feel like, obviously, this little girl was from Texas here in South Carolina. We don't know where the other 7 children originated, where they came from or where their families are, or if that was their family. We don't know. Maybe it was the 3 women's children. I don't know. I just feel like a lot more is going to come out about where they were and what was going on with it. Yeah, maybe to pay respects, but yeah, I would assume she'd go back to Texas as well. Oh no, and that's Lakita, girl. You can have, and I don't mean any disrespect by calling you girl. I know some people don't like that, so if you don't like that, I apologize. But Lakita, it. If that's how you feel, I support that too. Hey, Chrissy. Because we all definitely, feel different, especially when it comes to true crime cases. They're rough. So horrible for a little girl, and shame on the people covering anything up. Exactly. They clearly didn't call for help until it was too late. And I'm shocked because of the laws that we have in South Carolina. It is a I don't know exactly how they call it, but it's basically a one-hand state. So say you're in the car with someone and they get pulled over and they have something illegal on them. In our state, it's one hand is all hands. So if you're in the car with them, all people in the car can get charged with whatever that one person has. Um, Nicholas called me a girl. um, but it's all hands or one hand. So usually in the state of South Carolina, if someone is murdered, then everybody who was there, if they did not try to call 911, try to get help somehow, try to do something to change it, then they usually are charged right along with the person. Even if they didn't pull the pew pew, they're still charged. So I'm shocked, unless the two women who were put in there for obstruction ended up telling on the other lady, which is what I feel like happened, because when they ask, what made you change from, what made you just give the one lady, upgrade one lady charges, and he was like, oh, we can't get into the specifics of the case. So I feel like there were three women, and I feel like the other two were like, hey, listen, this is what really happened. She's the one who did it, or whatever. But I think it's definitely going to come out, because it's going to be public record, whether it goes to, more will come out if they go to trial, but enough's going to come out, I believe, with all of this going on. Two T's. So they would not say how the other kids were related, or if they're from this area, or anything like that. I do know that the 7 children also were taken to the ER and examined and all of that before, obviously they're in DS, what do y'all call it? DSF custody, CYS, CPS, whatever it's called. Oh, I hope you get better. I hope you get better, Lakita, and I'm so sorry you felt bad. Okay, so let's get into this next case, because especially from a medical standpoint, this next true crime case is one that is shocking to me, to be honest. Also, I keep forgetting to make all of the videos public. I finally did go through tonight and make a bunch of the videos public, to where if you don't want to sit through the whole live, you can view some of the recaps and stuff. So I did make a bunch. So you might have had a few pop up all at once. That's why. Because when I do these videos to show you guys, the edited short clips, I always make them private until I show them to you guys. And I mean to go back and make them public, but I usually don't. I forget. So I try to go through and, make a few as it goes, make a few public. I think I did 6 or 7. All right. So this is a wild case right here. Hey. And always no spoilers if you know the story. You're welcome, Lakita. All right.
Family is in shock, desperate to get to the truth about the death of their loved one.
Johnny Cashman's sister reached out to ABC 13 after she says she couldn't get answers from police. ABC 13's Noreen Turin has spent weeks investigating this case and is here now to lay it all out for you.
Well, Lynchburg police told 38-year-old Johnny Cashman's family in Maine that he died from a medical condition. His sister says they had no reason to doubt them and had Johnny cremated. But then she came across a nightmarish discovery. I do want to warn you, the following video and audio is very graphic.
This is just negligence. It's police negligence.
It's nearly impossible to describe the gamut of emotions Sarah Cashman and her family have been experiencing since April 19th, the day they learned their 38-year-old brother and son, Johnny Cashman, was found dead.
Obviously, we were devastated, but we were trying to make peace and find solace in the fact that what we had been told was he probably hadn't suffered.
Johnny's sister Sarah and her parents live in Maine, but Sarah says he and her mom spoke or texted daily. She says Johnny suffered from depression and struggled with alcoholism, so they always worried about him. But April 14th, that communication stopped, and his parents grew more concerned by the day.
She woke up on the morning of the 19th and was just, really distressed at this point. It had been 5 days. So at that point, she proceeded to call the Lynchburg Police Department.
Officers went to Cashman's Kemper Street apartment several times throughout the morning, until finally they got a key, opened the door, and spotted Johnny Cashman's body.
Lynchburg Police Department, if anyone's in here, make it known.
That morning, they gave the family the news.
The first thing my father wanted to clarify with him was there any sign of murder or violence? Was there anything we should be aware of? Murder or suicide, anything like that? We were told no, it was, it was natural causes. And we were told, based on the way they found his body, just kind of slumped over, it was something that happened instantly.
They told the family there would be no autopsy. I obtained the medical examiner's report, which shows they turned down the case. The report says, quote, blood with fecal matter found around home, likely gastrointestinal bleed per investigators. No trauma, no drugs, nothing suspicious.
I don't know what my father asked exactly at that point, but something along the lines of, should we be doing an autopsy? Are we sure there's no autopsy needed? And once again reiterated, no, the case is closed.
So the family made arrangements with a Lynchburg funeral home. Johnny was cremated and brought home to Maine. On April 29th, 10 days after Johnny was found dead, his ex-girlfriend and her mother went to the apartment with permission to retrieve some things. They were not prepared for what they were about to see.
Well, we open the door and the first thing you see is an abundant amount of blood in the bathroom.
She took these pictures of what appears to be blood all throughout the studio apartment, by the window, on a chair, smeared fingerprints down the wall, and on a door. You were not expecting what you saw?
Absolutely not. I thought he just died of a medical condition.
By chance, John's ex-girlfriend and a neighbor met outside. The ex showed the neighbor the pictures. The neighbor had a door cam. The two then began sorting through all the clips and found images and sounds that sent chills down their spines. This is at 3:03 p.m. on the day Johnny last talked to his mom, April 14th. You see him appearing healthy, bounding up the steps and going in. Less than a minute later,
What are you doing? Yo, what the dude? What are you doing?
at about 3:11, just 8 minutes after Johnny walked in, this man, who the neighbor says has been staying with Johnny for the last several days, walks out. But it's what happens next that had their jaws drop. The video keeps rolling, silence, until the outer door to the building shuts and the man is gone.
Help! Help! Help!
The ex-girlfriend sent the videos and pictures to Cashman's sister. Sarah went numb and started calling police. She left messages all over, including with the detective.
I called and left him a pleading voicemail. Please call me. I don't know what's happening, but something is wrong. Something has happened that we weren't aware of.
The neighbor and ex-girlfriend contacted police too, urging them to watch the videos and listen to the audio. Video and audio that may have already been in their hands.
Your camera, would it be possible to watch that?
These screenshots show the detective retrieved multiple videos from the neighbor's phone that morning. Since he took her phone to send them to himself, she isn't sure which clips he took. And at the time, had you watched some together with them? And they couldn't hear audio at that time, right?
No, ma'am.
Because it wasn't
hooked up to a Bluetooth or headphones.
She says nobody went in or out again on video until police got there to check 5 days later. Several days after Sarah left her messages, she finally got a call back from the detective. She was only able to record the end of their conversation.
Yeah, the problem is you told us up front it was natural causes. And so we had the body cremated, and so now there is no evidence.
What I was trying to communicate was that was a medical, and I've talked to your mom and I tried to clarify what I had said originally and explain what I meant by the medical emergency being him vomiting blood everywhere, uncontrollably.
Sarah says her brother regularly went to the doctor and gave me his medical records. On December 29th, he had a full exam, including abdominal, which noted no issues. His only diagnoses were anxiety, bipolar disorder, and hypertension. Nothing GI related was noted on another visit in late January either, his most recent record.
Not to mention, you've seen the videos, 11 minutes before this happened, my brother walks up the stairs completely fine.
Sarah believes police put little effort into the investigation because they didn't think Johnny was worth it. He'd been in trouble with the law before and had issues. His family was miles away. The day police discovered his body, the search warrant shows they collected 6 swabs of evidence and a cell phone. However, the day police were contacted about the videos, we see this. Late at night on April 29th and into the early morning hours of the 30th, police were back in the apartment collecting more evidence. But Sarah says they still aren't offering her or her parents any explanation.
Johnny was a really good person. He had a really big heart. And no matter what he was going through or what he had done in his past, it should not be that easy to just discard a human life.
On May 2nd, more than 2 weeks after Johnny Cashman likely died, police asked the public for help identifying this man here. The press release said he's a witness seen leaving an apartment just before another man's death from apparent medical complications. Last week, they identified him as Stephen Church from Elizabethton, Tennessee. They are still looking for him. I asked Lynchburg Police Chief Ryan Zudema to sit down with me for an interview about this case, but a lieutenant replied there would be no comment.
This is scary, that we're going to just sweep this under the rug as if nothing happened.
Reaction tonight from family after no one will be charged in connection to a death investigation that we've been following. Back in May, ABC 13 reported on the case of John Cashman.
That's right. His family came to us to get answers on his death. The Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney just announced that she will not be pressing charges in Cashman's death. We want to warn you, the following video is very graphic.
On April 19th, Lynchburg police found 38-year-old John Cashman dead in his apartment. Investigators told his family that he died from a medical condition. But that changed after the family received video from a neighbor. You could hear Cashman yelling, "What are you doing?" and "Stop, stop," over and over. A man could be seen walking out of his apartment moments later. That man, Stephen Church, was found in Nashville, Tennessee, and questioned by police as part of the investigation back in May. He claims that he stayed with Cashman for about 3 days. He said Cashman was drunk that day, according to the Commonwealth's attorney, and the two got in an argument, but it wasn't physical. Church claims when he left, Cashman was drunk, but fine. And according to the report, wiped his fingerprints off the door handle when he left because he had aggravated burglaries on his record and didn't want to be accused of squatting in the apartment. Cashman's body was cremated prior to the investigation since the family was told that he died of a medical condition. That makes it more difficult to find out exactly what happened. Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison is citing a lack of evidence after reviewing the crime scene, photos, and video evidence. I spoke with Cashman's sister, Sarah, about that decision.
What is the overall feeling from your family about the findings in this report?
No, this doesn't give us any closure. This is hey, we're not going to bother to investigate this further because we don't want the police department to get in trouble and we don't want the medical examiner's office to get in trouble.
Cashman's family also gave ABC 13 these bloody photos taken inside his apartment. The Commonwealth's attorney also addressed these in her report, stating, "The crime scene expert reviewed reviewed the photos. In his opinion, the blood pattern, amount of blood, locations of the blood in the apartment and on the deceased were consistent with a gastrointestinal bleed.
They try to focus on my brother being drunk and incoherent. I don't know if he had been drinking, quite possible, but he had no problem getting back up those stairs and into the apartment, didn't show any signs of a person who is about to have a major medical event that will ultimately lead to their death.
I reached out to Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison for an interview today. She was out of the area for a special prosecution and couldn't interview. I also reached out to Lynchburg Police. They said they'll comment in the future. It's not clear whether that will be through a statement or with a one-on-one interview.
Let me ask you this. As far as the Commonwealth's attorney is concerned, this case is closed. Where does your family go from here?
Honestly, today has been a whirlwind, and we haven't even had a chance to all talk about this together. I think we have to go somewhere. I mean, somebody needs to be accountable for this.
One part of the video, and I don't know, it must not have been in this one I saw, but in one part of the video, because I have been around some GI bleeds and some hemorrhages and some ruptures, and even in a controlled environment like a hospital, it looks like that. And so if you listen to the audio with maybe different ears, because she's saying that Cashman said, "What are you doing?" In another video I saw, they could not differentiate between who was saying what. And there's a part of the audio that they left out that says, where one man says, "Stop," and the other man says, "I can't." So I'm wondering, is he projectile vomiting everywhere, blood everywhere? He's going through the apartment. Dude's like, "Stop," or like, "What are you doing?" Like, he doesn't understand it, that it's a medical emergency. And then he leaves and like wipes his hands off of whatever, because he said he had been in trouble and had felonies and all this shit. So he probably thought he was going to get blamed for it. And then you can hear 1 minute after the guy leaves, you can hear Cashman yelling, "Help, help, help." So I'm wondering if he was just freaked the hell out and left. I mean, this was a few years ago. The guy never was charged, and there were never any charges. They were considered this a medical emergency. Even the medical examiner and everybody who saw the scene and everything, they all said it was, the same as what a GI bleed would look like. Now, like I said, the audio is fishy as hell. Him rubbing his fingerprints off is fishy as hell. But the part of that, him saying, "I can't stop," or whatever, that's what makes me believe he may have been like vomiting and the dude was freaking out. Let me see if I can find that part. Let me see here. Maybe it's on this video that I saw. It always wants to bring up Johnny Cash instead of his, it's always about Johnny Cash. But yeah, that's where it started. That one piece was like where I was like, wait a second, him saying "stop" and the guy saying "I can't." That really was like, that changed my mind a little bit. Plus, again, seeing those GI bleeds, if you've never seen one, that it can be jarring. Like, how the hell could this happen? Type shit. Sadly, it does. Let's delete that. All right, let's see. So what do you guys? They did say there was blood. Yes, and that was one of the biggest things, Scott Yvonne, is that they said it was blood with fecal matter. And if you look at the pictures, um, you can definitely tell that it has fecal matter in it. That the blood has, and that's what made their why their focus was saying GI bleed as well, because it was mixed with fecal matter. And see, what happens is, if you have like a GI blockage, your fecal matter, and I know this is going to be gross, so trigger warning or whatever, it has to come out one way or the other. So if you have a blockage, depending on where it is, it may eventually, because instead of rupturing your GI tract, what will happen is your body will push it up through the top. If you get what I'm saying. And if you had a GI bleed inside that, it would be the matter plus the bleed. Yeah, Marisol. And it's sad. I just think the guy, the way he acted, is what makes everybody go, what the hell? Let me see if because when I didn't know, there's like the actual news agencies and stuff, they didn't have that audio where he says stop, just or I can't or whatever. I didn't see that on the news. Like, I thought it was on this one until we watched it, and I'm like, what the hell? Why wouldn't they? Also, Stephen's footprints were not found in the blood, only Johnny himself. So that was another piece of evidence that Stephen was cleared of all wrongdoing and that he never actually stepped in any of the blood. But that's another thing too, and that's where I don't understand why there wasn't a charge for that right there. Because even if it was a medical emergency, this man was not found for 5 days. 5 days. And that man on the camera, he knew. Also, the neighbor, I guess, didn't know. I guess the neighbor didn't hear her, like the video or anything, until the ex-girlfriend started knocking and asking. Because in my head at first, I was like, you mean the neighbor didn't like hear any of that on her video or anything? Like, what? I couldn't believe that. But I guess if you're not home and you're not checking your camera, until you're asked, I guess that's how that happened. But at first I was like, damn, she heard all this shit, or, watched it on her cameras and didn't say nothing. But what's odd is that the police got the footage from, because you could see the lady's camera. So the police actually got the footage and of that man. They said that they didn't know if the police had viewed it or not, but that there was, that they did take it. So I think that was wild, because if they had that footage where they just were like tunnel visioned on obviously it being a medical thing, so they just didn't look into it. Because if they had that footage, I would think they would have been looking for him prior to the sister saying something, getting the footage and saying something. I thought that was a strange one right there. All right, let me show you this little part right. Don't do that. I don't know why it does it. Hold on, y'all. All right, hold on. When I drank, he did drink a lot. Okay.
Experienced a medical emergency leading to this catastrophic. Gianni and Stephen had gotten into a physical altercation.
All right.
And either scenario paints a, nor do we hear anything about rent. with the phrases lending themselves more to a physical struggle rather than a verbal one. In fact, in his life, Stephen was paranoid about going back to jail. But when Stephen was leaving, he did mention seeing Johnny hunched over the toilet as if he were going to vomit, but he claims to have left before this so-called medical emergency started. This is the gist of Stephen's account from that day, but the problem is, it doesn't really match up with what we're hearing in the video.
What the fuck? What are you doing? Yo, what the fuck, dude?
From the footage, we can hear everything going on in that unit, but at no point do we hear any sort of an argument, nor do we hear anything about rent, with the phrases lending themselves more to a physical struggle rather than a verbal one. In fact, the whole time it appears that we're only hearing one voice. But there is an exception. To my knowledge, it's never been conclusively determined whose voice is who in the recording, and either scenario paints a far different picture of what may have happened inside that room. But regardless, this audio makes it clear that Stephen's story was fabricated at least to some degree, as he also fails to account for the loud banging in the background. And because of this, his version of events is generally rejected, with most people seeming to believe one of two main theories. The first is that, upon arriving home, Johnny and Stephen had gotten into a physical altercation, resulting in Johnny taking some sort of blow to his abdomen, which in turn triggered or exacerbated this medical emergency. GI bleeds are horrific, and can certainly cause the level of bleeding that was found in the apartment, and perhaps seeing all the blood coming from Johnny, Stephen started yelling at him, before deciding to run off, fearing that he would be charged for murder. This would explain Stephen's demeanor and actions after leaving the apartment, and why he may have fabricated his story, as he knew or knows that he was directly responsible for Johnny's death. And this blow to the abdomen could have easily been missed by investigators, as the injuries would have been primarily internal. The second theory is that upon arriving home, Johnny naturally experienced a medical emergency leading to this catastrophic GI bleed. Upon seeing this and perhaps being in a state of shock, Stephen yelled at him, demanding to know what was happening and telling him to stop, as perhaps he was moving around the apartment and tracking blood everywhere, which would explain the other voice saying, "I can't stop." I could see how this experience would make no sense to Stephen, and perhaps just having no idea what was happening, he left and tried to make it look like he was never there, as he was afraid of being blamed for whatever was happening to Johnny, and so he essentially left Johnny there to die, whether knowingly or unknowingly. What bothers me about this theory is why 911 was never called, not only by Stephen, but by Johnny too, as his phone was found in the unit with blood on it, implying that he had it in his hand at some point, though it's possible that the massive blood loss just made him too disoriented. Both of these theories seem believable, or at least more so than the explanation that Stephen had given. However, in October of 2022, Johnny's case would officially be closed for good, with Stephen being cleared of any wrongdoing, as Johnny's death was labeled the same way that it always has been, a medical emergency that couldn't be further elaborated on, with the most relevant evidence being that Stephen's shoe prints were not found in the blood, but Johnny's were, implying that he had not been part of the struggle. But in my mind, this can be explained by both theories mentioned previously. Though regardless, without the possibility of an autopsy, this is likely where this case ends for good. But with this disturbing footage, I can't help but think that there was more to the story than we may ever know.
Me too. Me too. It is a hard one. It's a very hard one. If you just the evidence and didn't know the guy was there and you didn't hear them like screaming at each other or whatever, then that's one thing. But this is why I don't understand why the man did not get a charge. Because here's the thing, the reason they're saying he didn't get a charge is that he left before the medical emergency happened. Because if you listen in the footage, like he leaves, so Stephen leaves, and then it's a full minute later when Johnny starts yelling, "Help, help, help." So they're arguing that Stephen was already gone before he started this medical emergency. So therefore, there was no reason for him to call 911. My thing is, if there's no reason for him to call 911, why did he wipe the stuff off? He says that they got into an argument over rent because he wasn't paying rent, and he wiped it off because he thought that Johnny would get him for, that he would charge him for, squatting in his home, which makes no sense to me at all. Plus, we don't hear them argue about anything involving rent. So him not being there before the medical emergency happened, I think is BS. I think that dude was already having the medical emergency, and I think he walked in, or when he walked in, he was drinking. You could tell he was stumbling. Old dude was already there. Stephen was already at the house, and I think the dude had been drinking. I think he had the medical emergency and started throwing up or whatever. And old dude was like, "What the F are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" And at one point, he even says, "Stop." And you can hear Johnny say, "I can't." I think he freaked the hell out, left the scene because they said that his shoe prints weren't in any of the blood. So he must have been at a distance to him. Or he hit him in the stomach with something and that caused the medical emergency. So it's one or the other. But it does sound crazy. That's the lesson today we learn. Have an autopsy, even if because the police told them like it's a medical emergency, no foul play, whatever. And then they saw the scene and were like, what the hell? And I will say it did say fecal matter mixed in. So that makes a difference for me. And again, I have seen these medical emergencies. I think if nothing else, he should have been charged with leaving the scene or like not rendering aid. I think that's a charge is what it's called. Not rendering aid, not calling 911 and leaving that man knowing he was having that type of emergency. That's what I think. I think the guy started having the emergency and dude just left, freaked the hell out. And he could have called 911. Granted, that kind of emergency, it's very hard to have saved him, but you never know what could have happened. You don't know what could have happened if he would have got him the help he needed. So that's what I think. I think he walked out, he freaked out and left the man. So if nothing else, I don't see why he's not charged with that. But again, they say he wasn't there when it happened. So, but I had to bring that one to y'all just so you could get, what did Rosa say? Last thing I'd be thinking about is ringing 911. Imagine all the questions. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's a fake account. Yeah, well, I didn't even see him say anything really. Some kind of charge, right? I didn't see what Rosa said. He would have been dehydrated, delirious. I mean, yeah, exactly. Right, Megan, I would, yeah. He was a criminal and he was afraid that something was going to happen to him. Selfishness. That's what it comes down to, period. Selfishness. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of True Crime. And if you only watch me for True Crime, I will see you next Tuesday for another episode. If you watch me for Malarkey, I'll be back soon because we have things to talk about. Thank you guys so much. And as always, prayers and condolences to all of the families and the people that we talk about. May the 11-year-old in that case rest in peace. I will be giving you guys updates as that goes along. And thank you guys so much for your support. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so. I will see you guys soon. Bye. Too many, right, Lita? That's why autopsy, no way. Like that family regrets that decision they'll regret it for the rest of their lives. It's sad. Yeah, he stayed with him and did not come back for 5 days. He never came back at all. And so they did not find him for 5 days because the family called in a welfare check because they had not heard from him. So yeah, the guy left and never came back. Never told anybody, never called, nothing. It's terrible. All right, y'all. See y'all soon.